The United States Navy has sent a mine clearance vessel into the Gulf of Oman. It is accompanied by guided missile destroyers, the USS Frank Spee and the USS Lee. These destroyers reportedly transited the Gulf of Oman once over the weekend and are now operating in the Arabian Gulf. They have now been ordered to resume operations. The mine clearance vessel is entering the Strait of Hormuz. This marks the beginning of a full and formal mine clearance operation, an operation designed to clear the sea mines laid by the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps in one of the most strategic waterways on Earth. The Strait of Hormuz is considered an international waterway. The United States attaches great importance to navigation through the strait, the vital passage that transports goods from the Middle East to the rest of the world, especially to the Asia-Pacific region. The countries that benefit from this natural route include China and other Asian nations. But most importantly, China is the single largest user of the strait, bringing enormous quantities of goods from the Middle East through these narrow waters. Now, those waters are filled with mines, and the United States has decided to clear them by force, if necessary. The commander of the U.S. Army, General Brinker, issued a statement that left no room for ambiguity. Today, he said, "We are beginning a new phase of operations to clear this vital waterway. The restoration of the Strait of Hormuz will allow commercial vessels to safely navigate the strait without fear of being targeted by the Islamic Republic of Iran's naval mines. The operation has already begun." General Kerr also announced that the United States has added additional vessels to its mine clearance effort. Earlier this week, the U.S. deployed naval minesweepers to the strait, a clear signal that Washington is prepared to take direct action. National Security Advisor Jacanie AGPA of Australia weighed in on the developing crisis. Efforts to ensure that the Strait of Hormuz is not at risk are ongoing. AGPA said, "It is understood that U.S.-flagged ships will be sailing through the strait, and more commercial vessels are likely to follow in the near future once the minesweepers have done their work. But the sea is already riddled with mines laid by the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps. For the past few weeks, the United States has been the dominant user of the strait not by choice, but by necessity. Iran has demonstrated its ability to unilaterally control the strait, threatening not only American interests but also ships from any nation that dares to pass through. Now, the situation has reached a critical point. Ships cannot enter the strait. They are worried about their safety. The only way to pass without danger, until now, was to use Iran as a broker or escort because Iran knows exactly where its own mines are placed. But the United States is now positioning itself as the solution to this fear. Washington is stepping in to break Iran's stranglehold. If the United States succeeds, the number of ships that pass through the Strait of Hormuz every day, which could be hundreds of thousands, may soon return to normal levels. But the question on everyone's mind is, how will Iran react? Iran has threatened that if the United States closes the strait or opens it in any way that affects Iran's interests, Tehran will retaliate. So far, however, Iran has not attacked a single U.S. warship. The United States began its operation to clear the strait at 9:00 p.m. on April 13th. According to Donut, an analyst at the Australian National Security Institute, Washington has assured the Gulf of Oman that it will remain open. But Tehran's message, Donut said, is being distorted. Whether Iran's threat will come true remains unclear. The United States is positioning itself as the global crisis solver, and most analysts believe that the United States has the most to gain. If the United States succeeds in seizing control of the Strait of Hormuz and removing the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps from the equation, Washington will emerge with more influence and power than it has had in the region for decades. This analysis is shared by multiple experts, including the Australian analyst cited earlier. According to this view, the United States faces several stages ahead. First, the United States must reduce the threat from the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps. Second, the United States must craft a safe diplomatic solution, one that makes the world safe again. The key question is how and when the United States will respond. Officials see the international community as largely cooperating with American efforts. As U.S. destroyers are sent into the Strait of Hormuz accompanied by warships, ready to destroy the sea mines seized by the Iranian Revolutionary Guard's President Donald Trump has once again warned the Islamic Republic of Iran. His message was characteristically blunt. If Iran dares to attack either U.S. warships or U.S. minesweepers, Trump warned, the United States will destroy the Islamic Republic of Iran. He will throw it into hell. He threatened that Iran must not touch U.S. warships or ships at all. The United States, he said, will not bow down to the Islamic Republic of Iran. Furthermore, President Trump stated that he is not interested in renegotiating with Iran. He considers the mine clearance operation a separate matter. At this time, the case of the sea mines in the Gulf is the responsibility of the United States. Renegotiating with Iran is not an option. Trump also told the world that it must stand behind the United States. America has the ability to act unilaterally, but Washington needs more countries to support its efforts. Not everyone is standing with the United States. According to media reports, the Chinese Ministry of National Defense has issued a statement threatening the United States. China's message is clear. The United States has no right to interfere in China's internal affairs, and the case of the Strait of Hormuz is, in Beijing's view, a matter of Chinese interest. China's Defense Minister, General Dong Yuan, stated that Iran is controlling the Strait of Hormuz, but that Iran is still open to passage. The Gulf of Oman, he said, remains a safe haven for ships of other countries, including China. General Dong emphasized that China has relations and agreements with Iran regarding Gulf of Oman trade. He expects other countries not to interfere in China's internal affairs. The Gulf of Oman, he said, must remain open to China's interests. The minister went further. He declared that the occupation of the Gulf of Oman by any country constitutes an interference in the internal affairs of the China-Iran agreement and a serious violation of international law. He acknowledged that the closure of the Gulf of Oman by the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps has created tension in the international community, threatening important sea routes and economic lifelines. But he insisted that Iran's actions, while concerning, do not justify unilateral American military action. The Chinese defense minister warned that the current situation could lead to a serious armed conflict. The question now is, which side decides to use force? In a situation of growing fear of another war, UN Secretary-General Antonio Guterres issued a statement on the Gulf of Oman. The Secretary-General's statement, delivered by his spokesman, Stephen Johnson, said that while no agreement is currently possible, the United States and Iran should once again commit to negotiations rather than resorting to violence. Spokesman Johnson reiterated Guterres' position. Differences should be resolved through negotiation, not by force. Neither side should give up. The negotiations must be brought to a close, and talks must resume. The UN Secretary-General stressed that all parties, not just Iran and the United States, should come together to resolve this issue as soon as possible. Only then can the Strait of Hormuz be navigated freely. Guterres also stressed that all parties must uphold international law without the use of force. But there is now great concern about retaliation from Arab countries. A U.S. Navy ship accompanied by destroyers is being warned as it enters the Strait of Hormuz. At this time, while U.S. warships patrol the strait, the United States has deployed approximately 25 to 30 ships in the area. The latest reports indicate that the U.S. Navy ship USS has entered the Strait of Hormuz accompanied by at least 6 destroyers. Observers warn that if the United States continues to control or tighten its grip on the Strait of Hormuz, the impact could spread to other straits around the world. The Macau Strait, the Strait of Eritrea, the Taiwan Strait. If other countries begin to unilaterally control sea lanes in response to America's actions, free trade could suffer serious damage. The precedent being set in the Persian Gulf could echo across the globe. On Thursday, April 13th, the ASEAN Foreign Ministers Group urged the United States and Iran to continue negotiations to reach a permanent end to the US-Iranian conflict. In a video conference discussing the war in the Middle East, the group urged the full and effective implementation of the ceasefire. The 11 ASEAN heads of state demanded the restoration of safe and unimpeded travel and flights in the Strait of Hormuz. ASEAN issued a statement acknowledging the clear impact this crisis could have on regional stability, especially on energy and food supply chains. The organization stressed the need to ensure energy security for the ASEAN region amid the tensions in the strait. China hopes the United States and Iran will not push for another war in the Middle East. This message came before Chinese Defense Minister Dong Yuan's threat against the United States. Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesman Guo Zikan said at a press conference in Beijing that China hopes relevant parties will continue to work together to resolve the situation through political and diplomatic channels. China, he said, wants to create conditions for the resumption of talks to restore peace and stability in the Gulf. Tehran and the United States announced a week-long ceasefire last week, ending a 40-day war that began on February 28. The first direct talks between the United States and Iran held on Iranian soil took place over the weekend, but they failed to reach an agreement. The United States reacted strongly to the failure. Washington decided to unilaterally impose sanctions on Iran over the Strait of Hormuz, pressuring Tehran to abandon its confrontation with the United States. On April 12, President Donald Trump confirmed that the negotiations had failed. The United States, he said, does not consider renegotiating. The order to launch the Gulf operation is a matter for the United States to resolve. The global crisis, he insisted, is not something the United States will address without principles. The Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps has issued its own warning. If necessary, they say, all countries in the Middle East could be destroyed by Iranian missiles and drones. The Speaker of the Iranian Parliament, who led the negotiations with the United States in Tehran at the end of this month, said that his country will never surrender. Responding to the U.S. threat, the Speaker told reporters, if the U.S. fights and attacks Iran again, Iran will accept it. Iran will respond quickly. Iran will never bow its head to the enemy. The mine clearance operation has begun. U.S. warships are in the strait. Chinese warships are not far away. The United Nations has called for restraint. ASEAN has called for peace. Iran has called for resistance. The Strait of Hormuz, 33 kilometers wide at its narrowest point, has become the flashpoint for a potential global conflagration. The world is watching. The world is waiting. And the only certainty is this: whoever controls the strait controls the flow of oil, and whoever controls the flow of oil controls the global economy. The United States has made its move. Now, it is Iran's turn.